Okay, so the first spark plug's out and cleaned up pretty good, but there was a little bit of corrosion on the end. When I took it out, it was pretty stiff, and so I'm taking out the second one now, and usually these would twist right out, but I can't even twist it with one hand, so it's a two-handed job. There. That's twisting with about 10 pounds, 20 pounds of pressure. And it starts to come out once the corroded threads start stripping their stuff. But anyway, I'm worried that the inside of the pistons look like that too. So anyway. So this is the spark plug. There we go. So you can see the corrosion on the end of that spark plug. Now it's a mix of a little bit of everything. The good thing is those points are pretty good. So all I'm doing is cleaning up those spark plugs because they look like they were put in brand new. They just got put into a bike that got left for a little while. So I'm going to clean them back up because they seem to clean up pretty good. And I'll put them back in. But before I do that, I'm going to drop some oil in that cylinder block, and I'll probably do a compression test. The third, or I guess spark plug number 2 over here, came out almost effortlessly and has a lot less corrosion on it, but I don't think it was threaded in nearly as tightly. So anyway, we'll see. So I've got the carbs off. This is the inside of the float bowl, and they have these old-fashioned paper gaskets. So you can see this is where the this hole right here is where this adjustment hole goes through, and these things stick up through the bottom, and they allow for overflow to go out through the tube here. And then inside the carburetor, see if I can get this to come out. It's a little tricky, especially when you're just one-handed. Anyway, pull this pin out, and then underneath that's the float. So that's the float right there. And then this is your main jet, which I've already loosened, taken out and checked to make sure that it's clean, and all of those little pilot holes in there are all clean, and this hole is also clean. So back in it goes carefully. And I've also had this apart, and that jet's clean, and the other jet that's way down in there has also been out and it's clean. So the only other thing to worry about, I think so far, is this jet and 2 of the jets, these holes down here, which I think are the idle jets. Those, I believe, come through the front in these ports, this one, and that one down there. So I'm going to have to send some cleaner in there and try and clean those out, this, and this, on all the way through, just to make sure that gas is getting through, in addition to down here where the main jets and the needle jets come through. So that's all for now. Okay, so the carbs are all apart, and I sprayed cleaner into here, back into this, and all down into all these crevices. And then I took this air hose and I went and I shoved it in this hole. And this one sends air out of here. This one sends air out of here. And this one back here loops around and sends air out of here. Anyway, it's all clean. It's as clean as it can be for this old bike. I'm going to reassemble it, put it all back together, and then I'm going to try, see if it'll take some fuel and fire up. So, just to confirm my suspicions, I've dropped this wire down inside to make sure that's crystal clear. So far so good. Okay, so this is the needle, float needle, and there's a little spring inside of here that goes up and down, and that holds the fuel from coming inside the carb, and that just slips in there, just like that, and then the bowl goes on the top, and then you slide the little pin in here. There we go, look at that. One-handed. That's how easy it is. Slides right in there, and don't worry about these things sliding out, because once the bowl goes over the top, it keeps that pin in place. That's basically it, and then you want to make sure that these are just hand tight, and this should be just hand tight, and it takes an 8mm wrench. So flat head, and there's two jets in here. There's one here and there's one way down deep, and it takes an even smaller kind of micro screwdriver to get down in there, so be prepared. Anyway, going back together. So the other thing you want to look for in your floats, let's see if I can hold this steady, is what they call your float level. Which means that all of these floats should line right up across, and they should be level on each other. None of them should be down any more than the other, or they're going to pick up fuel at a different rate. These ones aren't bad. I'm just going to leave them because they look like they were hand adjusted, which means they're fine. Somebody put some love into these. Okay, so tonight's mission is to put some new spark plugs in exchange for these ones. So here's the new one, here's the old one, here's the old one, here's the new one. They come with these nice little sleeves, keep them from getting banged up. There. So we'll put those in and fire it up and see if it works. And I'm going to do that before I go to all the trouble to take those carbs off again and seal up what appears to be an air leak in here and on this side of this carb boot. So I've got some gasket sealer to do the job, but before I go to all the trouble, I'm going to see how this works. So plan A didn't work of just changing the spark plugs. Didn't kick. Thought it almost kicked over, but it wasn't enough to really get it going. So I pulled the carbs out. There's the carbs. And then I took each one of these off, if I could get it off. And then on the back side, back here, I sealed it with this stuff, Moto Seal, which is gas resistant up to 400 degrees. Couldn't get this one off, so I just sealed the back of it as best I could, and then I did these two. So these three all came off, but this one didn't. So here's hoping. So I got it running, but there's no compression coming out of the back of the tailpipe. So Last time I got it running, it sounded like there was something burning in these pipes. So today, I'm going to disconnect the pipe here, and then I'm going to look back as far as I can, see if there was anything happened to be living in here over the past 10 years. Yeah, I know you probably can't see in here, but anyway, it's full of a mouse nest, so that's exactly what was keeping it from running. Just going to clear that out and see if I can't get it to go. It's pretty gross, but that's some of the crap that's come out of this muffler. It's a nice little mouse nest. So there's the sound of success. Bike's running like a charm, actually. Lovely. So, lots of compression. Mouse nest is gone over there in the ground. And it's just purring like a kitten. I turn the idle up a little bit. Probably ran out of gas. So I took the carbs off again. Here they are. I ran the bike the last time. It was a float issue in number 4 and a leak issue in number 2. So I'm going to try to figure out what those are and maybe replace some stuff. So, got the carbs apart. Here's the old gasket. Had to take those off. All the insides of these bowls. Clean the surface here so it's nice and clean. And now I'm installing the new gaskets. And they go on like this. Oh, sorry. Upside down. There you go. But they're a little tight, so you gotta go around all the sides and tuck it in nicely. And I'll put each one of these back on, and that'll be it.